Hi everyone, welcome to Mindshop Studio. I'm Chris, and today we've got a MicroBit lesson, and I'm going to teach you how to make an app for your MicroBit that will make your MicroBit act like you were rolling dice. Are you ready? Let's get started. If you've got a MicroBit, go ahead and connect it up to your computer and go to makecode.microbit.org and let's get started. Today we're going to use some blocks in the logic menu, and you'll see here, logic, we've got if blocks, and if blocks check if your condition is true. You can also set it to false, and it will do something based on whether your condition is met. So if you're looking for something to be true, the computer looks, is this true? And then it will do the blocks inside. If you're looking for something true, the computer looks, it says it's false, it will not do the blocks that are inside. This is a control loop. Now the plus and minus blocks here allowed us to add more options. And so you'll see that truly the if then block is exactly the same as the if then else block. If we click the plus, we'll get an else. These comparison blocks allow us to make the comparisons, and that's what we'll put in that little block, that little space that says true, so that we can check whether our condition has been met. And we're also going to be using some variables today. So the first thing we're going to do is create a variable called dice1. So let's go to variables, make variable dice1. Okay. Then we'll go to the on start menu. We'll set dice1 to 0. We're going to initialize the value of dice1 as 0. So dice1, 0. Okay. Now the thing is, if I don't set dice1 to 0, it's going to be 0 anyway. Setting it to 0 is just a good habit to always make sure your variables are initialized and start out where you want them. Next, let's get an on a button press block. And then in the a button press, we're going to set the value of dice to a random number. That's in math. Random. And that random number, because it's a dice, will be between 1 and 6. And of course, we need to show the value. So we'll get a show number block, put it here, and then we go to variable, we get a dice1 block and put it there. Now, when we press the A button, we should get a number between 1 and 6. Boom! There it is! Just like that, we've created an app that allows us to roll dice. But we can do it a little bit better. We can make it more interesting, so let's get rid of this show number, and let's actually show pictures of dice. So we'll go here into logic, we'll get an if block, and what we're going to do, get a comparison, and we'll say that variable that if dice is 1, then we'll show a picture. So we'll show LEDs, big block, the dot in the middle. Okay? Okay, now you might notice that there is no if dice equals 6 condition. Why is that? Well, it's because we've checked the other conditions already. We've checked, is it 1? No, it's not 1. Is it 2? No, it's not 2. And so on and so on. So after we've checked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's only one possibility left. The only thing it can be is 6. So we don't need a condition to check for 6. It's what's left. All right, let's test this. You can download and test it on your MicroBit, or you can test it in the simulator. 6, 2, 3, 4, 6. You've seen all the numbers now. So I know that works. Great. All right, now let's try to make this even more interesting. You know, when you roll dice, you actually roll a dice, you see it tumbling over, right? So you see the numbers change, and you get a little bit of anticipation as you're watching those numbers change, and you're like, ooh, 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 what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen? So let's recreate that. How can we recreate that? Well, we can make some pictures to make it look like the dice is moving around, right? We can create a little loop. So here's what we can do. I'm going to get a loop. Let's just get this to repeat 4 times. And we'll put it here. All right. So what this loop does is it allows me to run the loop 4 times. It's basically rolling the dice 4 times. So what you're going to see is the number change, and then we should get more of that effect that we want. Let's test it. Okay, not bad. Okay, now I've got another little challenge for you. I want you to keep track of the dice rolls, and we want to keep that number, the value of the dice rolled, and we want to add them together. You need to capture the value of the dice and add them together. Then we want, when the value gets to 25 or more, we want to stop the game and tell the player how many times they rolled the dice and what their final score was. Sounds easy? All right, why don't you go ahead and stop the video, give this a try, and come back and see if your answer matches mine. Remember, there's always more than one way to do this. Okay, let's see how we get this done. Now the first thing is we need to create new variables. So we're going to create a variable called total and a variable called rolls. Then when the A button is pressed, the first thing we're going to do is change rolls by 1. Remember, change by adds whatever value is in by to the variable, okay? As opposed to set, which just sets it at the number that you decide. Then at the bottom of the loop, outside the loop, we change the total by the dice, okay? Because remember, we're going to roll this dice 4 times in our loop, but we don't want to add all 4 times. We just want that last number. So then we're going to, outside the loop, we add dice to the total. Then I put a little thing here in my B button to show the total, just so I can check it. And then in the forever block, I said, if the total is greater than or equal to 25, we're going to show rolls, the word rolls, and then the number of rolls, and then the word total, and then the number. So let's test it. There it goes. 8 rolls. To hit 25. Now there's other ways you could have done this. You could have, instead of used total, you could have used score, and you could have done change score by dice. And then when you reached 25 or more, you could have triggered the game over block, and the game over block would have told us what the total was. But the game over block will not tell us how many rolls. So to really accomplish the challenge as I laid it out, you should not have used the game over block. Great, so we used some logic blocks today. We went and we checked some conditions. We used if then else to see if our conditions were met and then either do something or do something else. And then we used these comparison blocks to set the conditions. All right, it's quiz time. Look at these blocks and use them to answer the quiz. Now remember, you want to answer our quiz, it's best to go join our Facebook page at Mindshop Studio, and you can post your answers there. We'd love to hear from you on our Facebook page. Check out the quiz questions. Name the variables in this app. What happens when the app loads? What will trigger the forever block? Will the forever block end the app? How many dice are rolled when the A button is pressed? Why is roll changed after the other blocks are done? Why are there pauses and clear screen in the A button block? And what does the B button do? Alright guys, that's it for me today. Thanks a lot for joining us here at Mindshop Studio, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Goodbye!